But I'll be taking photos. Sweet. I'm gonna get Nathan up here to click through everything. Cool. Unless you
I'll stand / be here. You have Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Video or anything?
That is recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try not to block it.
You're chilling.
199 way better. Oh, 198.
That's got I have so I don't want you using your hotspot.
Yeah, it's been kind of funky with the past couple. We tried to do that with. We tried to do that last week with Allen's and doing it with Liz. So I don't know if they like cracked down on. I don't know if they cracked down on it recently or what they were trying to do with that. So it's weird. It should be good.
All right.
No, it's not. It's like it's like a department of transit department. It's like a housing department. For resources for. Yeah.
Let me make sure this is. Video.
Oh, there's no library.
Yeah, there's quite a few chairs.
I want this.
All right.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, cool. All right, well then let's get started, everyone. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Landon Lee. Some stuff about post-grad stuff, so that is a very scary future for a lot of us, especially over in this corner. We are graduating very soon, so he's here to spread a lot of his useful tips. So definitely be paying attention, taking notes if you want, and he's going to share a lot of good stuff, and maybe have some other stuff in store for us a little later on. So I'll give you the floor.
Sweet, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you all for taking some time to chat tonight. I know you've probably got other things, homework and things that you'd rather be doing, but appreciate it. So just to kind of preface this, as Tyler mentioned, I went through the program and was working at the time, and then went on to do some other things, and just kind of felt like the things that I learned here in the program, they were awesome, but I wanted to take those to work, and it didn't quite translate the same, and it kind of ran into some challenges. So I thought, I could kind of share some of those with you all and hopefully help you avoid those challenges. So yeah, me. So I'm Landon, as Tyler mentioned. I graduated in 2016. And I worked for a few different organizations during that time doing design. So I worked at marketing agencies or design agencies and in-house at a couple places over the course of 26 years. And before going through the program, I kind of felt like I had an eye for design, but not necessarily an understanding for the methodology behind a lot of it. Actually, before I go too much further, there is a game at the end of this, and I brought some prizes, some fun stuff, art supplies, things. So do highly recommend taking a couple notes. I'll try to give you some added emphasis on things to give you some hints of what might be the answers. But yeah, okay. Going through the program kind of turned me into an advocate for strategic graphic design. And when I went to apply, what I learned to my graphic design jobs, I ran into a couple of challenges. So the first, oh, sorry, we're not there yet. Yeah, I mean, one of those challenges was, go ahead to the next. So one of those challenges was like the reality of working with non-designers. I think they were having trouble understanding the importance of graphic design, like strategic design. But I was also kind of having trouble understanding the world of working with clients. So, next one. Today, I'd like to take some time to reflect and share some of the things that I've learned as a designer, as I mentioned earlier, coming from the program to the working world, and in the hopes that, it'll help set some realistic expectations for you guys. All right. So, wondrous world design. Having come from a predominantly film-centric background, going through the graphic design program here at Sac State was kind of revelatory to me. Like I tend to be a very analytical person, so learning about the strategic thinking behind design was really like intriguing and interesting. So I was able to apply some of the basic principles of design from the lower division courses to my job at ABC 10. But before being accepted into the program, I wanted to work for a real design or marketing agency, get some experience there. So I applied to a small agency in Sacramento called Threefold Communications, and I got a job as a junior designer. And I was honestly just happy to be in a creative environment that allowed me to test out my graphic design skills and get some experience there. So yeah, that's what that says. And that is how I felt learning about the impact of strategic graphic design for the first time. Please tell me if you guys know this. Yeah. Yes. All right. So here's some things that I felt like I learned through, going through this program. Obviously, you guys are learning a lot going through the program, but these are kind of some of the high-level lessons that I felt like I learned. So the first one is that design should have a purpose and solve a problem. And then, having design decisions be rooted in research and strategy, I felt makes for, and I still feel to this day, it makes for a more bulletproof strategy when you're defending your work or presenting your work and sharing it with people. The second thing is that great design takes time and iteration. Time is on point. So as you likely learned by now, great design comes from like mining your mind, going through all your ideas and finding little genius nuggets amidst all of those kind of more obvious ideas. And then constructive and well-founded feedback, intent, is crucial when refining your ideas. Relying on your peers to highlight the things that you may not immediately notice can only help your skills to improve. So it's really important to collect really constructive feedback. And then strategic design should be valued. Strategy comes at a high cost, money-wise, that good clients will respect and appreciate. So make sure you're valuing your work because it deserves to be valued. So, it was my understanding that if I did all these things, my designs would lead to wildly successful campaigns or brands that could take over the world. That was the hope. But that's not really how it went. So, all of those ideas were really exciting to me. And I was ready to kind of teach my entire office, get them all up to speed on the wonders of strategic design. But I was kind of met with unforeseen challenges that I didn't really anticipate. First of which is that deadlines don't always allow for your best work. It's just kind of an unfortunate reality, but in program, it may not seem like you have a ton of time, but you are still given some luxury of working on projects in the class and at home over the span of weeks, sometimes, hopefully. And in agencies, deadlines are usually usually pretty tight, sometimes only, a matter of days as opposed to weeks. So tight timelines also truncate or kind of cut out altogether a lot of the important steps that we as designers value, like peer feedback, iteration, and refinement. And then the second thing is that every project doesn't have to be your best. You obviously want to do your best work all the time. I know a lot of us are very particular about that. And you can still do your best, but you have to be reasonable also with your time and expectations. A lot of times too, managers or clients don't really appreciate or care if you take the time to come up with great designs. And sometimes it's out of the client or manager's hands too. Sometimes there's fiscal, budgetary deadlines. Sometimes there's events, big events that are happening that they're working towards, and you just don't have the time. So, but in the end, it's kind of out of your hands. So you just kind of have to do the best with what you got. And then there's subjective feedback. Unfortunately, there are often many cooks in the agency kitchen, meaning that you have to convince a lot of non-designers that your design choices were the right choices. And personal preferences are people who think that they know best sometimes can often be a little challenging. And sometimes managers and peers will actually advocate for a non-strategic idea just because it looks cool or they think it's the most effective, but it may not be the case. And then there's also tight budgets. I think in this program we're taught our value as designers, but unfortunately, proving our worth sometimes can be an uphill battle, and people sometimes just don't see our value as designers or behind our process either. And so we often find ourselves having to kind of prove our value over cheaper alternatives like Fiverr or other on-demand creative solutions where people can just quickly pay for, a not so strategic design. So convincing account managers or supervisors to advocate for bigger budgets from clients can be a little challenging, and it sometimes restricts the number of solutions that we can offer our clients. If you haven't experienced joy like this, just be mentally prepared that it can happen. Doesn't always happen, but it can happen. I'll let you soak it in. Feel the frustration. But it's not all bad news. The moral of the story that I'm sharing with you all today is that I want to share some tips and suggestions for how to balance the integrity of your design without becoming jaded with the expectations of clients. So the first thing is when faced with tight deadlines, you want to find a way to expedite your process while retaining your strategy. So retain your mind mapping, your sketching, refinement steps for logo development, for example. But instead of giving yourself 8 days for each step, give yourself a little bit of hours and plan ahead so that you can meet your deadline with time to spare for like iteration and refinement and feedback and all that stuff. You can also try, breaking complex deadlines into smaller milestones or tasks. Hint, hint. Ask yourself, what can I get done today? What can I get done within the hour? What can I get done in the next couple of days? Like, look at everything holistically and see what makes sense for, how to bring all your pieces together, get you across the finish line. And if you're not given a kickoff meeting, request one so that you have all the facts. Does everybody know what a kickoff meeting is? No. Did you have a guess? The briefing? Yeah. It's basically the first meeting to kick off a project. So it's where you get your creative brief, all your details and information, and it's where you can just really fact find and ask your questions and get all the information. So always make sure that you're asking for a kickoff meeting, even if nobody's got one scheduled, because understanding client goals and objectives in those calls really gives us the support we need to defend our work. That's a really important thing. Client goals and objectives, again, is really what gives us the ammunition down the road to be able to defend our work. So that's super important. since you arrived a little bit late, I'm giving hints because we're going to play games later. So, all right. So, second thing, which is probably up there, thank you, is to pick your battles. Just another key hint. Sometimes an idea just isn't worth fighting for, and honestly, sometimes if it's an uphill battle and clients are going to client, then it might be best to just kind of loosen the reins a little bit and accept a client's decision, knowing that it's not your decision and that you made your best effort to fight for your strategy. So it's okay to decide not to show it in your portfolio. Sometimes you just got to get the job done. And when you're in those situations, ask yourself like, what's the end case or what's the end use case for this? And how visible will it be? Like, can I sleep at night knowing that maybe this isn't my best work? And if the answer is yes, then, might not be worth fighting for. The other thing that I always remind people of too is that you can still show, if you're doing iterations and you're sharing multiple variations and concepts, and the client doesn't choose one that you think is the most strategic, you can always still use it in your portfolio. I think it's just really important to defend it again with your, your design reasoning and explain your decisions and the challenges that you face. So, I think the process of how you arrived at your solution is the most important part. It doesn't always matter that, like, this was displayed on this billboard or whatever. It's like, even if it wasn't chosen, still just choose whatever you think works best. Obviously, don't push that on the client, but you can use that for your portfolio. And then the next thing is to be open-minded and collaborative when it comes to feedback. It can be challenging sometimes when you're presenting something and somebody doesn't understand your perspective, but it's important to kind of keep an open mind and be collaborative when it comes to feedback. So, try to understand, again, a coworker or client's perspective before pushing back. And sometimes even find a way to integrate their idea into your solution in a way that's still strategic and connected to the original objective. The important thing too is not to be combative. You don't want to come across as aggressive, but just be prepared to explain how your idea solves the problem. That's the important part. And be open to the idea that maybe your exact solution may not solve the problem in the way that you thought. So, but this is why it's important to always use research and, again, the client's goals and objectives to defend your work, not your emotion. So, take inspiration from feedback that you're given and find a way to solve a problem in a different way. Problem solving is our job after all. And then, as I kind of mentioned earlier, understand your value as a designer. I think, as students, your confidence will grow with positive reinforcement from doing good work, and then also with experience. Understand that if you're just starting out, you may be expected to do some unglamorous and unfun work, but in those instances, still find opportunities to kind of prove yourself and step out of your comfort zone. Try to be a thought leader when appropriate. Create fun side projects for yourself, either for your work or for outside of work. And remember, when you're just starting out, that you're still, believe it or not, more qualified than a lot of untrained graphic designers. So be humble enough to recognize that you may not be super experienced, but still be confident in the fact that just knowing your value. And then evaluate, as you are entering the workforce, after a year or two, if you feel that you've kind of outgrown your current position or your current job even, consider whether you're willing to accept kind of the same amount of money or do more work, those types of things. So just understand that, you do have a way to kind of move up in the work world. And then there's nothing wrong either with changing jobs when you feel like you've outgrown your position, but my advice would be to always seek upward movement, not lateral movement. So, making sure that you're not kind of taking the same role and responsibility somewhere else for the same amount of pay. If you're going to make a move, try to move up, when you feel the time is right. So, before we jump into that, any questions or thoughts? Anything?
so you were designing, and then you already had a design job, and then you went through the program?
Yeah. So I started at Threefold just to kind of get some experience. But I didn't really have, I think I'd taken like lower division courses at that time. So I didn't really have like a lot of the in-depth knowledge of the upper division courses. And then I went through school, kind of, I think went part-time with my job and then took on more classes. And then coming out of the program is kind of when I felt like I was armed with all this knowledge and wanted to change the world and all that stuff. So, yeah. Yeah.
So when you kind of, when's a good time when you evaluate when is a good time to jump to a good position? Like, is it after a certain amount of time? Is it with project base? Is it that employers are no longer valuing you when you're bringing more to the team than they initially sent you on for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the last point you made is really key. I think like anytime that you feel like you're taking on a lot of responsibility and doing a good job, because there's kind of two sides to that. Like you could be trying to take on a lot and then you're failing at a lot. So then that's not really conducive to moving up. But if if you're taking on a lot or you feel like you're really excelling past a lot of your peers, it's okay to admit that. I think it's also good to be humble about it and like come at it from not like I deserve this or I should be ahead of this person, but just like bring to the table what you're accomplishing, like what you are bringing to the table. Like I'm doing these, I have these responsibilities every day. I'm accomplishing these things all the time, and just kind of explain again your value and what you're bringing to the table. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, never really did have you done freelance?
I have. I actually basically have a freelance business right now.
When you started that after the program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had already more experience, right?
Yeah. I mean, I actually started it in 2020, so it was like 4 years after I graduated. But yeah, I mean, I had some experience through, work and kind of doing some freelance and collaborating with people.
The reason I'm asking is because I feel like right now, like people know, like I'll post like what I'm working on like on my social media, just kind of showing like what people are doing.
Yeah.
And then some people will reach out and like they'll be like, oh, like how much will you charge me for like this and that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where I'm like struggling to like find like my value.
Yeah.
And like I know like how much effort I put into it, but I just don't know where like the gauge of like how much to charge for stuff like that. Did you kind of learn that through working with like agencies, or did you kind of like learn that on your own, or how did you come up?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of a combination of both. I think I know this is like a vague answer that doesn't really help, but like it kind of goes back to just valuing, yourself and like what do you bring to the table, like what can you offer, and yeah, I mean, I think it is a really tough thing. Like I should have started with that because I think every designer really struggles with that and like trying to figure out the right price point. But I think you can kind of base it off of your experience, like how many years you've been doing it, confidence, honestly, like if you're like, oh yeah, I can crush this and do a really good job. And then your time too, like how much time are you investing in these things? Like, I would like to assume that we're all, again, very strategic in what we do and take our time and go through the process. So that alone is worth it, and that's, again, something you wouldn't find on like Fiverr or, hiring somebody who's cousin who does it for fun or whatever, but like, so yeah, I think, I would just kind of base it off of that and what do you think feels like reasonable. And I don't think there's anything wrong either with floating a price by somebody and then see how they react. And, if they're like, whoa, I can't afford that, doesn't necessarily mean you should necessarily like go down in price, but it's good to kind of gauge it and say, that's another also opportunity for you to defend why you charge that much. Like, again, you go back to your experience and, your process and justify like why you're charging what you're charging. But then sometimes, you know, if you're finding like a pattern of people just like saying no a lot, then that's maybe when you reconsider and reevaluate your rates and start, you know, coming down a little bit. So, does that answer your question? Yep. Cool. Any other questions? All right. Are you guys up for a game? I've got prizes. I told you. I've got goods. Let me just explain what I got. So I've got my favorite drawing / writing pens. These are Tombos 03. Yeah. So I think I've got enough. Well, let's see. There's how many of us in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 12-ish. Yeah, we've got enough to go around. So that might be a consolation prize. Got field notes, some really cool designs. Enough for maybe 1.5 teams. We'll see. And then I've also got Starbucks gift cards because we could all use, you know, some caffeine throughout the program. So that's what I got. You guys up for it? Yeah. All right. So let's see. So there's 12 of us. Why don't we split into 2 teams? Does that sound fair? You guys want to do that? So you can just decide amongst yourselves.
No. Be together.
Yeah, I might need to, or actually, if you want to run it, you're more than welcome to. It's just,
Let's have
It'll just be like
let's have you two split up into
actually, if you want to help me keep,
and that. I'll keep taking photos and then you can cover this up. You got some even teams.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
let's do 2.
Dang, we official with it. Okay. Damn, okay.
I've also got, I have no idea where my stickers are, but are you all familiar with Chris Lee? No? Yes. He's a super talented illustrator with the program a few months ago. And I've got a bunch of his stickers, so please look for everybody, help yourselves. There's like Animal Crossing stickers. There's like some drawing and design dirty stuff. So, all right.
Yeah, so let's make sure you can.
Help yourselves, guys. Yeah,
Stickers up here? Wait, on top?
you slept on Chris Lee.
Oh my God, Animal
Check 'em out.
Crossing.
Oh, trying to brag you guys
It's so good. I mean, we're all messing up.
I guess take off the stickers so I can't off this next time. It's my whole supply. They've just been rotting in my, you know.
The fish is cool. I'm so smart. I never got my favorite.
Maybe I should press it on.
I'm smart as well. You know, I always so many things.
Like sticker? Yeah. All right, is everybody familiar with Jeopardy? How to play Jeopardy? Yes. Or, all right. Anybody who doesn't know, raise your hand now so I can explain.
I'm not playing, but I also don't know.
Okay.
We've played it before. Is it like if you answer something wrong, do all your points go away?
Oh,
No, well, at least that's not how it's played. But basically, you guys will take turns. We'll do a random, you know, coin flip or whatever, figure out who goes first. Somebody will pick a number. These are normally dollar values, but I don't have that much money. So we're just gonna go by points. So you pick a point value, and then there will be a question. in the form of a statement, and then you have to answer it in the form of a question. So, for example, if it was like, you know, this artist designed all these stickers, then the answer would be, who is Christy? So that's how you answer it. I really try to give you guys strong hints. I feel like these are kind of hard, but maybe you'll surprise me and it won't be hard. So yeah, I'm gonna, since you got that, I'm gonna take score. All right, so let me generate the. So I'm calling you team 1, team 2.
I don't know.
Do we-
What's that?
Do we take, but
What's the buttons for?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot that part. So so when you choose a question, either of you can answer. So if you guys choose one for 200 and you don't know the answer, and this team buzzes first, then they get to answer the question. If you buzz first, then you get to answer the question. And then if you get it wrong, then it automatically goes to the other team. Good?
Wait, what if they buzz first, but they get it wrong? Do we get to answer?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, you're good.
Make sure you're in reach of the button.
Yeah. Good.
You guys are very poor.
He's hovering the button.
Okay, so
Gonna hit it too hard, it's gonna hold down the phone.
for this too, you click on the question, and then you'll wait for me to answer. Or
I may.
yeah, you'll wait for me to answer, and then there'll be a link to the answer. So if they get it right, then you go to the answer.
Actually,
I'll publish.
Oh,
And then
innovation.
you can also click on the back to.
That is a creative design solution. right
Is this
there,
all in
actually.
like PowerPoint?
Yeah.
That's great.
Google Slides.
Fancy, fancy.
All right. Team 1, you're up first. Yeah, you guys can choose who goes first.
Yeah, design takeaways for 300.
Design takeaways for 300. This kind of feedback is crucial in a collaborative environment. Yeah.
Constructed and well-founded feedback.
Wait, hold on, let me make sure that's right. Sounds right.
Oh, what is?
You insulate.
Yeah, what is,
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so you guys get 300 points. And then you also get to choose from the board again.
Do I put? Then-
Yeah.
um,
And it also doesn't cancel them out, so I'll try to keep track of which ones are canceled.
Yeah, for not on the board.
I know.
Yeah, sure.
design takeaways for 400.
Already?
Gathering information and evidence through this step makes for a strong defense when presenting your work. Yes.
Stick the notes real quick.
What is the kickoff meeting?
Not quite. You guys have a chance. Team 2, you got a chance. If nobody gets it, we'll just take it off the board. All right, cutting you off. So let's see. Let's do you guys.
Another try?
Back to the board. No, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, actually, sure. Since you guys got it.
okay. What is research and fact finding?
The answer is research. I'll give you guys that one. I think next time, if neither of you get it, we'll just cancel it. All right. Next choice.
Design takeaways for 500.
Big bucks.
Start small.
Yes.
You didn't even ask you yet. Is that cheating?
Oh, sorry. I thought this was such a short one. Is there more to that answer?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I'll give it to you guys. It was close. Answer: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate.
If you combine the two.
Yeah. Okay, you guys hit 4. Deadline dash to 300. Instead of having days to complete something, you should limit your time to a few of these to work more efficiently. Ooh, 5 hours. That's right. Okay. Ding.
Holy crap.
Deadline for how much? 300. Oh yeah, you guys get the board.
It's a close game, actually.
Yeah.
If I wasn't, do I have to answer or can one of my teammates answer?
I
We
mean,
don't know if we
yeah,
know the answer.
yeah. Whoever knows the answer. Deadline dash for 400. Maximizing the time you have for a project requires you to retain this structured workflow while also condensing it.
Don't scan the notes. Think it hard.
What is modifying the process?
What was it for again? 400. Yes, process. I will accept process. Nice. Okay. All right. So now it's your board.
Creative confidence 500.
Oh my God.
Talk
about process. Being this kind of leader, known for sharing innovative ideas and insights, can help demonstrate your value. This is a tough one because I just said it. It wasn't on the slide. Yes.
What is creative director?
Not quite. You guys wanna guess? I'll give you
Being this kind of leader.
as soon as I can follow the clock. Thank you. Yes.
Aries.
Not quite. So we'll take this one off the board. The answer was a thought leader. All right. So the board will go to, let's see, you guys chose, so it'll go to you guys.
Confidence.
Confidence for 300. Your confidence as a designer will grow with these 2 key factors.
I didn't.
Yes. Close, but not quite. Team 1.
Oh, the yeah, positive affirmation and experience.
I'll give it to you. Positive reinforcement and experience.
Okay.
So 300. That goes back to team 1.
Juggling act 300.
When pressed for time, designers can do this to speed up while still retaining the structure. Yes.
Expedite the process while maintaining, modify the process.
Ding, ding, ding. Correct.
Oh my God, that was like word for word.
Yeah. All right. You guys back up.
Oh yeah. Design takeaways 100.
Design should always have a purpose and aim to do this essential task. We'll go with you guys. Solve a problem. That is correct. That was Design takeaways for 100. I will require you guys to wait until I finish the question. I know I broke the rule earlier, I'm sorry, but from now on, we'll wait till that's the question. Okay, you guys get the board again.
Juggling act, 200.
1000? It was like 1000.
Being these two things can help greatly when receiving feedback in the design process. Let's see.
Constructive and well-founded feedback.
Not quite. Other team, team one?
What is being open-minded and collaborative?
Yes, correct. All right, so team one, you got the board again.
Agency antics. 400?
Hey, stop.
We do have a decent amount on board. Okay, this type of feedback based on personal opinions is typically the most unhelpful. Yes.
But it's subjective.
Yes, correct. What was that again?
400 rating.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. Thank you. Forgot it. What's that?
Secrets.
You may not want to know. It's like over 1,000 to 800. Well over 1,000 to 800.
Come back.
And it's doable.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
doable.
can do it.
Gotta get the 500s.
Creative confidence, remember. All right, you guys have the board?
Creative confidence, 200.
Okay, these personal endeavors can help you develop your skills outside of work and school. Yes.
Introspection.
Not quite. It's gonna be no. Other team, team two? Oh, thanks. Doing too much. You got 5 seconds.
Take a guess.
Organization.
What is organization?
Nope. The answer is side or passion projects. Okay, sorry, last one was 400 for agency antics. Do you remember the one before? The one before that. Agency antics?
Agency is 400. Yeah. Could have been 500.
Yes, okay. All right. So back to you guys.
Agency antics for 500.
Oh my God. Strategic designers are constantly competing with this regular on-demand freelancer. Yes.
Cheaper alternative.
Ooh, I need a name.
What is Fiverr?
Fiverr is correct.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding.
Fiverr.
Fiverr.
Yeah, true.
That'll be the new
Worse.
AI
AI verb.
Okay, you guys got the board again.
Hardly know her.
Deadline dash.
Oh my
That's
God, you guys are expensive.
A good strategy for tackling tight deadlines is to break the project into these smaller, manageable parts.
What is small goals?
What is it?
What is small goals?
Close, but no cigar.
What are phases?
Nope. The answer was milestones or tasks. That was another one I didn't put on this slide. Technically, yes. Okay. We'll throw you guys a bone. You guys can go next. We got agency antics for 1, 2, and 300. We've got juggling act for 100, 400, and 500. Deadline dash for 100, 200, and creative confidence for 100. All right. This common phrase is a great reminder when to push back on client ideas or feedback.
It's either on one.
What?
If you throw one,
Did we do this one already?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Juggling
Yes, this one.
Yes. Okay, so this common phrase is a great reminder of when to push back on client ideas or feedback.
Pick your battles.
Yeah. All right, so you guys have the board, team one. -100. Designers can effectively defend their work by listening for these during a kickoff.
What is client goals and objectives?
Correct.
Yeah, let's just put it in some more back.
All right, let's get the board again.
Oh, some of this is back.
Deadline dash 400.
I'm trying to be clean.
I think
Did we do that?
I think we did.
I have it marked off, but I'm not sure. Yeah, let's try. We've got agency antics for 100, 200, 300. We've got juggling act for 100, and we've got and 400. We've got deadline dash for 200 and creative confidence for 100.
Juggling act. 400.
All right, using this instead of research and strategy to defend your work will likely hurt your case. I'll give you both a hint. Okay, yes.
What is feelings and emotions?
Emotion is what we were looking for. Nice. Okay. Back to you guys.
Creative confidence 100.
All right. Always seek upward career movement, not this type that keeps you at the same level. Technically needed to wait till I finish the question, but I'll let you guys.
What is
You know what? I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to you. It's lateral. The answer is lateral.
Oh, it's going down for real.
Okay, so you guys. We did. We have 200 available. Or I'm sorry. Wait. No, we did not. Okay. Even when the client doesn't select their idea, designers can still do this to showcase their work. Yes. Yes, we'll accept it. We'll take it. Show their original concept in their portfolio. Nice. All right, you guys have the board again. Got agency index 100, 200, 300, deadline dash 200, and creative confidence for 400. I don't know if I mentioned that one before. Through experience, make sure you understand this important quality about yourself as a designer. That was down to the wire. Yeah, your value. Good job.
Where's the baby double?
I know. I think that was an option. That's too much. Okay. Team 2 again. That's 40. Designers might be told to limit their hours because of this financially limiting factor. Team 1?
What is budget?
Yes. Technically small budgets, but same thing. All right, team 1, got board.
Agency antics for 300.
A small digital ad running for just one day may not warrant this key overarching design tactic. Yes. The answer is strategy, but I'll accept it. That was 300, yeah. Good job, you guys got bored. Okay. Got one more question. Okay. All agency work might be strategic and thoughtful if it weren't for this common time-related hindrance. Yes, that's correct. Time deadlines.
Okay, but that was all scary. Yeah, or just said the answer.
All right, you guys have a chance at the last question, which is deadline dash for 200. Before starting any client project, designers should request this initial meeting to clarify expectations. Yes, team 2.
It's a kickoff. Okay. Let's kick off.
Kickoff meeting is correct.
Yeah.
And that's the game. Winner is me. I pranked you guys all. I'm taking all this. Team 1, you guys are the winners. But team 2, you don't leave empty-handed. First of all, there's a bonus stick. So you guys get the field notes. Fight for those amongst yourselves.
Yeah. How many 6 of us? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. This one in back, right? And then some combo pens. Yes, also get some sweet combo pens.
Is there an extra one?
Yeah.
George? Oh.
Anybody not?
You can have it. I was like, I just lost my pen.
Okay. There's not for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's still good.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you learned some things. Yeah.
Yes. Let's give Landon a great round of applause. Thank you for coming and spreading your knowledge. We appreciate it greatly. And some nice little free goodies for you guys. For those of you who are watching this recording, maybe that means you'll come next time. But yeah, thank you all for coming. As a reminder, next week we do not have any meetings. There's Design Week next week. We want you guys to attend that. We want you to go meet people in the community, go to all these events that you can. So with that being said, we won't have any meetings, so we don't want to interfere with that. So try to go to those meetings. Buy your tickets on, there's a lot of free events throughout the week, and then the conference is on Friday and Saturday. Buy your tickets on capitalcreative.com, look up Sacramento Design Week. I'll probably throw out an announcement, we'll probably throw out an announcement onto our Discord, and kind of will have to wait to buy tickets. But if you're not, with that being said, if you have any more questions, we have a little bit more time, so for free, if you have any questions, it's a great resource. And yeah, otherwise, I'll see y'all hopefully at Design Week. I will see all of you at Design Week. I remember
For what it's worth, too, I'll be speaking at Design Week on Friday. So if you guys happen to attend Friday, I might see you there. Okay.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us via Zoom. Bye. Have a good rest of your night.
See ya.
Bye-bye.